Hi, and today we have the big pleasure to sit with a musician, singer-songwriter, Graham Bonnet. How are you?
I'm okay, considering I haven't slept for about 2 days, but I'm okay, thanks.
So where were you yesterday?
We were on a boat, traveling from, where did we come from? Helsinki, I think it was, to here, and I am not here this morning, so excuse me for being a little bit hazy, but we've had a very busy trip. We've been on the road every day for the past 4 days and hardly any sleep, but we're doing the best we can. So it's been good, it's been really good.
Well, I can tell you've been there, done that before as well.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? It's very hard.
Well, born 1947 in Skegness in England. Can you tell us a little bit about your upbringing and maybe some of your musical early memories?
Okay. Yeah, well, the town I was born in is like a farming town, but it's by the seaside. My dad was a farmer. My mum was also worked in the farming industry. And I was a butcher when I was a kid, when I was 15 years old. I'm a vegetarian now, I'd like to tell you, because I didn't like what was going on with the animals. You know, it's a very cruel world we lived in, you know. But now vegetarianism is like everywhere. But I lived in that town until I was 18 years old. Then I moved to London with my cousin Trevor Gordon, who used to be in the Bee Gees years ago. And through him, I got to meet the Bee Gees, and Barry Gibb wrote a song for us back in 1968.
Is that only one woman?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, there was only one woman, which was dee 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 dee. It was just, we had no words, and I remember them all freaking out. I said, this is really cool. This is going to sound great. And Barry had no words, so he smoked a little medicine, and he wrote some words for us like next day, and we recorded the thing, and it became, I think it went to number 3 in the English charts. But that was kind of the beginning of my sort of recording career anyway.
So like I said, that was your first step into the life of music. How was your parents? Were they supportive? I mean, you were doing this with Trevor Gordon, your cousin, and they were supporting this, and they said, okay, you don't have to be a butcher for the rest of your life.
Yeah, they did, actually. My mum used to sing, and my dad was very much into what I was doing. He really liked to see people enjoying me singing and all that kind of thing. So they're very encouraging. They didn't want me to go to London, but it was the only place to go because the town I lived in, there was no music industry whatsoever. So I had to move away. And we did that, and we played one night in a club called the Revolution Club in London. And it just happened that Trevor Gordon's old manager was in the audience, who used to manage the Bee Gees also in Australia. And he gave Trevor Barry's telephone number, Barry Gibb's telephone number, and we went to see Barry next day. So it kind of progressed from there. So I thank the Gibb boys for giving me a career, basically.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and no formal training, so where did you learn to sing? You didn't really go to a conservatory to learn technique or whatever, so was that in the slaughterhouse? You were just walking around singing?
No, I mean, I started singing when I was about 5 or 6 years old. And in the 1950s, when I was a kid, all you heard on the radio were like opera singers and Perry Como or Frank Sinatra or something. I didn't like that, but I liked the opera singers. I liked the way they projected. I didn't know what the music was all about, but I liked that kind of singing. So when I was a little kid, I used to wander around the house, whoa, you know, doing this big voice. And my mum and dad would laugh, listen to him, he's so loud. You know, so it was so, I was doing a show for them. And so they encouraged me to have a big voice, you know, which I don't have very much today. But they were very, you know, they encouraged me all the way until I left for London. They didn't want me to go because they were going to miss me. But it was a musical family. My uncles played trumpets and accordions and all that kind of thing. So Christmas parties were always a sing-song, you know, always singing and harmony.
So you sort of referred yourself sort of R&B, more in that genre.
Yeah, that's kind of how, you know, I started off. I like pop music very much, not silly pop music, but good pop music. I love the Beatles. I love the Beach Boys. You know, Brian Wilson's one of my heroes. He writes beautiful songs. Not the surfy stuff, but the latest stuff, Pet Sounds, and all the Beatles stuff. I've always been a Beatles fan. It was, what was the question again?
Well, yeah, sort of if your parents were encouraging, but I think you answered that question.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Well, 1974, you also had a brief stint as in the movies. Did you continue to be an actor? I know you didn't have too many sentences in that movie, 1970.
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah, I was like, my script was E-R, and who, me, or something like that. It was all just reaction shots. But it was so funny. That was with DJM, Dick James Music. It was funny because after I did that film, I had 2 scripts come to me by serious writers. I'm going, how the hell did this happen? You know, I don't do anything in this movie. I sing, but I don't actually, you know, say anything. But it was amazing that I got scripts from about a truck driver, being a truck driver, taking drugs across the border to somewhere or other. And another one, I can't remember what it was about, but they never happened, obviously. But it was something I was interested in. I liked the thought of being an actor as well as a singer. You know?
Well, at least you could say been there, done that.
Yeah.
4 years after, I think this was your first sort of heavyweight step into the music world. You get a call and you did audition and you became a member of Rainbow. And how did that shape you as a person, and how did it shape you as a musician?
Well, it was something, I didn't know anything about Rainbow whatsoever. I thought Rainbow was a folk group. It sounded like, no, Rainbow, sound like an acoustic trio or something. So I had to go out, buy their albums, and listen to what they were doing, And they gave me a song to learn called Mistreated, which I learned and went over to audition for them. They'd auditioned 79 singers or something. It was a stupid amount of people. And I sang the song, but I didn't use the microphone in the room we were rehearsing. And after we finished it, because I didn't want to mess up, I thought, well, I won't sing on the microphone because I might hear mistakes or something. I'll sing without the microphone. And we stopped the song, and they all started laughing. I said, what's up? And they said, do you want the job? But this time sing it on the microphone, So they heard me, what I did, but without the mic. It was kind of, they were just laughing because my voice was so loud.
So obviously Richie Blackmore liked your singing more than your haircut, I suppose.
Yeah, that was a big problem later on, yeah. Well, not a big problem, but a silly little problem about everybody had to wear a uniform. If you're in heavy rock, you have to have hair down to here and spandex pants or whatever. And I was anti that. Everything, no, I can't wear this.
So sneaking out the window on the hotel, cutting your hair before the gig.
That didn't really happen. I went out, it was in Scotland, I think, I'm not sure. But it wasn't that. That didn't happen. I actually just went out with my ex-wife. I said, let's go into the town and just have a look around. And my hair was like kind of, just scrappy down here. So I thought, well, I'll go and get a haircut. But that was it. As innocent as that. It was nothing to do with being anti, long hair or whatever. But when I came back, saw them on stage that night, the band, Richie looked over in shock, like this, and he walked behind the amps. We never saw him for the rest of the night. He was behind his Marshall stack. Right. And then next day we had a band meeting, and Cozy said to me, we've got a band meeting. It's something about you. I said, what the hell? What is it? So we went to Richie's room in the hotel, and he said, we all sat down and said, what's up? And he said, well, it's Graham's hair. And everybody laughed, like, what? What are you talking about? Well, he's had it cut. So, and the meeting was over because everyone else was on my side. But Richie had this thing that you have to look a certain way to play a certain kind of music, which I think is totally stupid to me. But I would never do anything to hurt the band or him. I didn't do it to, harm him in any way. You know what I mean?
Well, I think you gained a lot for the band.
Well, I tried to.
Well, you moved on, and you've always been back and forth with your solo career, and you've been joining other band, Michael Schenker Group, and then, of course, Alcatraz with our fellow Swedish guitarist, Yngwie Malmsten. How was that collaboration with Yngwie?
Well, at the beginning it was great, because he was 19 years old when we found him. It was just pure fluke. We went into a store one day, one of the other guys in the band, and the guy behind the counter said, you're looking for a guitar player? I said, yeah, we are, but we want someone who plays like Richie. That's what I wanted, And he said, well, we know someone who is like a big Richie fan. And we went to audition him, and he walked into the room. He looked like Richie, kind of the black outfit, the whole thing. And when he started playing, it was like, oh my God, this is the guy, because he was brilliant. Just blew me away, blew us all away. It was just so fantastic. And on the spot, you want the job, it's yours,
Graham, what motivates you? You've been in this business for a long, long time. You've been doing tours. You've been, sleepless nights.
Yes.
You've been out there. What makes you keep on doing it year after year?
It's all I do. I don't know anything else, I don't want to be a butcher again, I know that. But this is something that's in my blood. When I go to bed at night, I'm thinking of new songs and new ideas, words, over and over again. It's always with me, every day, as soon as I wake up, as soon as I lay down in bed. That's sometimes why I can't sleep, because I'm creating in my mind. It might not be the most wonderful, brilliant thing in the world, but it's an idea, and those ideas progress and develop, through the days when you're writing a new song. I ride on my bike, I've got a song in my head. This is all I do, and I try to do it the best I can because people seem to like what I've written and sing. So that's it. This is my life, and I will go until I fall over. You know.
Do you have any advice for the younger musician? I mean, when people are young, they're dreaming. They might want to be a fireman, or they want to be a pilot or a rock and roll star. What advice do you have? It can be professionally, what they need to practice on, or just to behave in the business. What advice can you give them out there?
Well, at the moment, it's saturated. The whole business is saturated with bands and singers and whatever. If I was in the business now, if I was starting now, I'd be very scared because there's so much competition and very good competition, you know. It's a difficult business to be in to actually make money as well now these days when nobody buys CDs anymore. It's totally changed from the vinyl days to tapes and all that. Now you have to play live. You have to play live to earn a living, to make your living, you know. So it's more difficult now than it was back when I was a kid, when I was in the 60s. I think I don't think I would pursue it if I was in the business. You know, if I wanted to be a musician at this time, I don't think I would go into it seriously. I'd take it as a hobby, play it as a hobby, and have a real job on the side. That's what I would suggest to younger people. Because right now, musicians of my age aren't making much money anymore. You know, it's all the disco kind of things and the rap and blah, blah, blah. You know, but I would think about having two jobs. This would be the cool job that you like, playing music. But the other job would support your life.
And being a butcher daytime.
Yeah.
So, Graham, where are you? Where is Graham Bonnet 10 years from now?
I hope I'm still here. Everybody's dying, aren't they? You know, this year's been so many deaths all around my age, you know. Prince the other day and David Bowie, you know, et cetera, et cetera. We all know about all that. It's very scary. I hope I'm still here and still singing.
I'm sure you will be. Graham Bonnet, it's been a big pleasure to meet you, and we're looking forward. Can you just tell us a little bit about your band, your new band?
Okay. Well, I played with these guys, with Conrad and with Bethany, our bass player. Conrad, who is our guitar player, at the Whiskey with another band. I got to have a jam one night with them. I just sang like 2 songs. And I was with my own band, sort of part 6 of Alcatraz. It wasn't the original members, but we're going out as Alcatraz and playing. I thought, well, I'd like to do something different. And I had so much fun playing with these guys. I said, that's it, let me try something new. And the funny thing is, we're actually playing Alcatraz songs still, but what we want to incorporate is the new songs we're writing right now. It's fresh. We started off thinking we could probably do an acoustic-y thing, but then we looked at each other, no, I don't think this is going to work. I know Richie's kind of done that with his wife, sort of semi-acoustic things. But I have to go back to rock and roll. So a drummer came in, and you know, that's basically it.
Great. We'll be looking forward to hear you in a little bit. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.